Why, hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Everyday EDC. My name is Tyler, and today we're going to be reviewing my 30-day challenge knife, the CRKT Heron. Alright guys, so the CRKT Heron was my knife of choice for the 30-day challenge knife, sub $50. And I'll go into all the reasonings and really performance of the 30-day challenge in tomorrow's episode, where I'm going to be attempting to do my first live with Jake from Ohio State and Joe's Multi-Tool and Bushcraft, or Multi-Tool and EDC. We're going to see if we can all get together as first-timers on streaming and try to give our thoughts, because I challenged those guys and Corey at the Practical Blade, who unfortunately won't be able to make it. He has to work like a normal person during the day. The rest of us are going to try to make that time frame work. And if it doesn't, we might push it back a day. It's like still scheduled depending, but we're shooting for 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. The live might last maybe 30 minutes, but we all had different knives that we chose for different reasons, and all, I don't know about JoJo. I don't know if JoJo, I didn't hear anything from him throughout the 30 days, but I know Jake and I have a lot of similarities and parallels in the experience. But today we're going to be reviewing the Heron. Now, the Heron is a knife that I chose to mod because I actually really enjoy the design. This is a Lucas Burnley design, and let's just get you guys a quick look of everything. We have a nice hollow grind here. I did punch the blade a little bit. That is from some HRC testing, which just came in around 57, 58, with this 8CR13 MOV blade. Nice Wharncliffe shape, just typical. Really fat face for the handle. We got a lanyard hole right here, and a stainless steel frame lock right here. Deep carry pocket clip, which does work pretty damn well. And that's really about it. This thing's riding on Teflon washers. These were gray. I did dye them, and as you can see, some of the tan, or I'm sorry, they were tan, but they are starting to come back. This is a captive pivot. And that's really all there is to this design. Now, yeah, it's a CRKT. It's a $32 knife, and with some fake carbon fiber or whatever going on there. So you might be like, why did you choose this knife? Well, I really like this knife. I love the feel of it in hand. The ergonomics for a $30 knife are really nice. The action, when it was on just Teflon washers, was really nice with a flat right there. Or not flat, dead center going on right there. But this is not completely tightened up. For the sake of sanity and proof, I'm going to retighten this and show you guys how smooth we were able to make it. All right. No back and forth. There's the flip. That's a little bit too tight. Let's see, one more time here. No back and forth, and we were able to get it to not drop shut, but just so smoothly go down right here. I was able to get it to a point where I almost had a drop shut, all right? So basically what I did was I worked in this track right here with a detent ball, and then I took a little bit of sandpaper to the Teflon and put phosphor bronze mounted next to the blade on both sides just to see what it would do. And oh my gosh, is this action like just wicked smooth. I'm not going to say it's the best action in the world, is a $30 knife, right? But it is so smooth. It's just, I actually really enjoyed it. So I did that on day 3. I did 2 or 3 sharpenings on this while I had it. And overall, it kind of performed to what I expected. There was some unexpected emotional feels that we're going to talk about during our live tomorrow. But all in all, this knife is really fantastic for the price, despite being 8CR13 MOV, which, to be honest, I mean, yeah, I had to resharpen it, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Very easy to resharpen. So this is coming in at just about 7 inches. The blade length's coming in at just about 3, and the cutting edge is like 3 9/10, right? It's like right there. Let's get you guys an overall weight. So another reason I chose this is the carry factor. It's that short, stubby feel that I like. Kind of like the Chodis feel, right? And what that does is that allows it to sit very flat in your pocket. It might sit wide, but I prefer flat over wide in the pocket, which is ironic because I like contoured better than I like flat, but it's just kind of like a give and take as far as carry goes. Yes, this is a stainless steel frame lock coming in at 3.9 ounces with a 3-inch blade. Yeah, that's what you're going to get for the $30 price range for a lot of things. You sacrifice a lot. Zero that out. All right. Let's go to inches. So the overall thickness of the scales at its thickest points coming in at 0.44. The overall thickness of the blade stock, I think, is coming in like 130 or something. Ooh, 140 thousandths. So yeah, it's relatively thick. But it does have this nice little hollow grind here that allows it to get, after 2 sharpenings, let's see, after 2 sharpenings, I'm at about 20 thousandths, 22 thousandths behind the edge. That's not bad for a $30 knife. Some knives, you're going to get a lot more life out of those sharpening, but this one, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. It is relatively tall. Let's do that measurement real quick. And if my sound is weird, I'm using headphones to record this because the way I made my... Never mind. I'll explain that later, but I'm using headphones to record this. Coming in at 1 inch, 450 thousandths, basically about 20 thousandths or 200 thousandths rather, shorter in height than most Spydercos. So here is some comparisons for size. There is your feldspar sandwich. As you can see, this knife is just about the same size as the mini feldspar in overall length. This is not a long knife. And I find myself kind of steering towards those knives lately. Like, I prefer the shorter knives. I do like pocket tanks, but I do prefer the shorter knives. And I say I like pocket tanks, but I'm really appreciating something that, like, you can't feel in your pocket too. Like, there's something that just, I do enjoy that. Anyways, so here's your small rat and your large rat, or your 1 and 2. Again, generically the same size as your rat model 2. Okay, do I have a Civivi sandwich? I'm going to show a Civivi sandwich, and then I'm going to show you guys some of its brethren in the Lucas Burnley CRKT family. So as you can see, this is once again much shorter than the Praxis, a little bit shorter than the Civivi Perf, which is a fantastic, fantastic knife. Probably should have chose the Perf, but the Perf's like $60-some. Okay. Here is one of its brethren that I haven't been able to carry yet, but I got because I like this knife so damn much. That is the Lucas Burnley CRKT Sketch. And then here is the CRKT Tuna, which kind of inspired the whole thing. And you got the Heron and Tuna. They're both part of like the fish family Sketch. I don't know. It should be, but I don't know if it is. And the Tuna is a knife that I haven't really carried yet. And I probably should have before the the Huron, because the Tuna feels really, really nice. And the Tuna is one of those that kind of like took off, right? They have very premium models of it. This, I believe, is just the 8CR13 model. But anyways, so that's its brethren. So let's talk about this knife. Again, this is an 8CR13 knife for maybe 30 to 35 bucks. Stainless steel frame lock, no over travel stop. Super smooth on them Teflon washers once you break it in, which, like I can tell you, breaking this in requires this. You push down and you just rotate it back and forth. This one did take longer to break in than like an expensive knife, but you're also kind of getting, you know, a cheaper everything. So that is what it is. This knife has been taken apart several times. I have dyed this knife couple times to get this dark on the tan, and that's worked out quite well. I've sharpened this knife. Okay, sorry about that. We had a child emergency going on. Not really, everybody's fine. So I did sharpen this a couple times. The sharpening took really well. I laid back the edge to, I don't know what the degree is. I just laid it back and tried to keep it as uniform as possible. I would call it anywhere from 15 to 18 degrees. And it just works really well. I've let probably 3 different people at work use it, and they thought it was an awesome knife. They were like, man, you are a knife guy. This is awesome. And I'm like snickering because it's a $35 knife, right? For 35 bucks, 8CR13, are we that mad? This has kind of changed the way I feel about 8CR13 in the sense of, yeah, I had to sharpen it a couple times, but the reality is it took an edge pretty easy. It's not the most wickedly sharp edge, but I didn't spend the most time on it. And my next sharpening, I'm probably going to leave it as a super toothy edge, so it'll probably take a super wicked sharp edge. I can tell you that it definitely cut into my skin when I was trying to test it, and it did that on accident. So that's a good thing for the sharpness, bad thing for my hand. So overall, a 58 to 57 HRC for their 8CR13, I'm not too mad at. That's pretty darn good for an 8CR13. I see them mostly between 55 and like 58, 59, so it's on a little bit of the higher end. Could it use an over travel stop? Oh yeah, definitely it could. But do you need one? Just don't be dumb with it, right? It's 35 bucks. It's okay with me if they took the time or took the idea and save money, right? The deep carry pocket clip is really, really good for this. I mean, this is just a really good design. It's recessed with flathead screws. Hey, Civivi, it's recessed with flathead screws for 35 bucks. Just saying. So that's a good thing. As far as ergonomics, hard use, you can really bear down on this guy, or it's the perfect blade length to do some tip work right here. You can definitely almost reach all the way up to that tip and just kind of finally go through what you have to go through. As I said, action was pretty darn good on the Teflon. Adding the phosphor bronze kind of made the huge difference for me, probably because I did it, so you have that sense of pride too, right? But if this was my only knife for forever, I wouldn't be mad. Let's just put it that way. I think the Lucas Burnley design on this, well, not really Lucas Burnley design, but it is Lucas Burnley's design, did fantastic with this model. This Wharncliffe model allows you to do any kind of situation that you really need to do very well, short of long slicing tasks, which you really can if you have a good edge on this. Just push cut through there. 145 thousandths is a little thick, but 22 thousandths after a couple sharpenings, I'm not mad about. The plunge grind is done really shittily. It comes out to there, right? You still got the plunge going on as the blade starts. It is what it is. The opening hole, super easy to access. You can reverse flick it, you can slow roll it, and you can thumb flick it just fine. You can even do the Spidey drop, whoop, and it's all good. That ramp with the jimping is ultra comfortable, and the lock bar access isn't too bad either. They opened it up and scalloped on the inside both. It's not the easiest, but once again, not the worst either. Having taken this apart, this is what I can say. I took apart the QSP Piglet, which is around the same price range, maybe even a little bit more expensive. And I loved both of these models. I did a bunch of mods at one point in time to both these models. I don't think I posted them because I jacked up the video. But my point here being is that I loved it so much that I did some mods to it. And I already broke a couple screws on that Piglet because those screws on QSP's budget line, totally separate topic, they suck. These, everything held up really nicely. It went back together super nice. As this thing loosens up, yes, it starts to come off center. You just give the pivot a little bit more crank, and there you go. I've also found with the Teflon washers, it was difficult to over-tighten. I didn't have any issues over-tightening the pivot. Why? Because it's on Teflon, it still worked. It was just a little bit tighter. Now that I have the phosphor bronze in there, you can over-tighten it a little bit more, but not a huge deal. You have these two screws that hold it together, and that. That is it. It comes apart just fine. You do have this backspacer, which I think is G10. Don't quote me on that, though, because I'm not sure if this is FRN or G10 and then overlaid with some cheap carbon fiber. This might be FRN, but it feels nice. I have no complaints about this guy for 35 bucks. You guys are going to start seeing me give 8CR13 a little bit more credit than we actually give it within the community, because it didn't fall apart like some pot steels that I sharpened. It held its edge long enough, and it stropped back and honed back very, very well. So the blade steel is what it is. For 35 bucks, guys, I think the CRKT Heron, if you like the design, do it. You won't be mad. It's not going to be a wower. It's not like something like the Wii Sakshi right here, right, for 160 bucks. It's not that. But it is $35 awesome work knife, in my opinion. And it kind of deserves its own, like, here's the Razzlecliff, right? We talk about that. That's 25 bucks. There's not much of a difference, guys. That is all I got for you. This is the CRKT Heron, Lucas Burnley design, like 35 bucks. I chose it for the 30-day challenge, and to be honest, it served the purpose well. It is a fantastic budget knife, And I think we need to be looking this way a little bit more. Let's think outside the box instead of just going to the Badlands Vagabonds and the Ortises and, you know, the CJRBs. Yeah, I mean, if I were to do a death battle or battle to the death with some of those, would this lose? Probably. But there's still bats in that caliber. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. Stay sharp. Stay safe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Check out the live tomorrow with Jake and JoJo and I at 9 a.m. Central Time. We're going to try to make this happen. It'll be my first live and their first lives, and we're going to talk about our experiences emotionally, right? We'll talk about the knives, but the emotional experience of this is the difference here. It's not the knife. It's not me. It's you. Have a great day, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.